2024 is the 40th anniversary of the Sixth Doctor, and to celebrate the occasion, Big Finish Production have given us two celebratory box sets, the first of which came out in March, The Quinn Dilemma, which had multiple versions of the Sixth Doctor, which had multiple companions in this epic, fun, sprawling story, which embraced and celebrated the complex, expanded medium and the expanded universe of the Sixth Doctor that's happened over the past nearly 40 years of the canon, and also this new one, this new box set, which came out in August, the Sixth Doctor Adventures, The Trials of a Time Lord, which, if the previous one, The Quinn Dilemma, was a big celebration of the Doctor's friends and his companions, The Trials of a Time Lord is much more a celebration of the Sixth Doctor's villains and his rivals. So The Trials of a Time Lord is a big 6-part adventure which is written by 3 writers, with parts 1 and 2 being written by Roshana Patel, parts 3 and 4 written by Catherine Armitage, and parts 5 and 6 written by Stuart Pringle. However, don't let the multiple writers fool you, this is one epic 6-part adventure. The Trials of a Time Lord initially seems to take place with the Sixth Doctor and Mel trying to rescue a group of prisoners at a cyber conversion camp. You've got the Cybermen, the leader of which is voiced by the incomparable and irreplaceable David Banks, and while at first it seems like a standard adventure, you've also got a companion surrogate character called Tiffany Jenkins, who, according to this story, has met the Sixth Doctor before. However, don't worry, you've not missed an adventure, this is just some backstory so that the audience can get very quickly on board and very quickly sympathize with what's about to happen to Tiffany, because as you can tell by the cover here, Tiffany gets a little case of the cyber conversion. So Tiffany sends out a distress signal. She's stuck in a cyber conversion area, a cyber conversion prison, led by David Banks' cyber leader. The Sixth Doctor and Mel go to try and break Tiffany and the other humans out of it. However, minor spoilers, but I can't really talk about the Trials of a Time Lord without diving into this particular part of the plot, unfortunately. The Trials of a Time Lord is a very literal and meta title, because it turns out that this cyber prison escape scenario is a fake scenario concocted by essentially the same producers of the Vengeance on Varos reality TV, death TV programs, where it turns out that this cyber conversion scenario is actually a scenario concocted for reality television that the Doctor and Mel have essentially unwittingly gate crashed. Let's play a clip from The Trials of a Time Lord.
And welcome back to this Siberia Escape the Cybermen After Party Special!
Let go of me!
And we're joined now by the mastermind behind the greatest ever escape, the man in the multicolored coat, the Doctor! And everyone's favorite villain, the silver giant with fists of steel, the Cyber Leader! And may I say, I thought both sides played exceptionally well.
The Doctor is always a worthy opponent.
Wait a minute. You're complicit in all this?
Of course, Doctor. The Ludosphere broadcasts to millions of inhabited worlds. It would be illogical for us not to participate. Our series has delivered us thousands of new Cybermen.
Don't clap that. What's wrong with you all? Why would you watch this? Have you no shame? No empathy? People were dying in there.
And our audience appreciation figures have always been excellent.
You said the line. Anyway, it's a really fun and novel concept for a story, which gives credence to the idea that yes, all of the Doctors, the Sixth Doctor's biggest enemies and adversaries happen to be in one big place without explicit Time Lord involvement. You've got Davros here as well, voiced by Terry Malloy, which means the Daleks can't be too far behind. You've got the Cybermen, voiced by David Banks, who's in his 70s, but God, I still love that voice. You've got Androgums as well. You've also got, I don't know if they're exactly the same race or the same species as Syl from Vengeance on Varos, but very much that same type of energy, that same type of enthusiasm there. So you've got this big mismatch, this big collection of Sixth Doctor adversaries in the Trials of a Time Lord. And also, as you can see here, you've got Peri, who is older, who has been married to King Yrcanos. She is also brought into the games in order to play her own, almost like a Xena warrior princess type of reality TV show that she's stuck in and she's trying to fight her way out of. The person who draws the short straw in this six-parter, unfortunately, is Mel, who does spend a massive chunk of the story watching the adventures from the outside, saying, God, we really should do something about these death TV shows, shouldn't we, Resistance fighters? And not an awful lot happens outside of that, from her perspective, for about the first 5 episodes. However, there are some big twists in the last 2 to 3 episodes as well, which I won't dive into here, but they do give Mel a lot more fun material to do later on. There's also some really nice interactions between the Sixth Doctor and Peri. There's some terrific Davros, Terry Malloy scheming. I'm going to play another clip from the Trials of a Time Lord. This takes place in parts 3 and 4, written by Catherine Armitage. Let's play a clip.
You're behind all this?
Well, of course, Doctor. I knew that if I trapped the rodents you call human in a barbaric game, you would come running. And then...
No, hang on. This doesn't add up at all. It's been a while. Oh, that's not you. That sounds more like a line.
A line? He's trapped in the show, too.
How dare you? I am the Supreme.
Oh, cut that nonsense. Why, oh, why would a scientist of your caliber bother with trashy TV shows and tedious trials?
Oh, congratulations, Doctor. You have seen through the producer's little deception. I do have a part to play in this odious circus. That of executioner.
This Davros chap is terrible. So destructive.
Oh, don't you burn those onions, Ray. Well, that's it, Davros! Fry him!
I can't watch this. There has to be a way to get them out. Brot.
So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Mel doesn't get an awful lot to do. However, that's sort of a way to facilitate the main overarching structure and the themes of the Trials of a Time Lord, which is essentially an extension / sequel to Vengeance on Varos more than anything else. The Trials of a Time Lord title is mainly just there for wordplay for the Trial of a Time Lord, which was Colin Baker's second and final season where he was literally on trial. So for the Trials of a Time Lord, he's trying to escape this elaborate TV studio which is being built and destroyed and then rebuilt again through Nanomachine Sun, which is a way to facilitate the producers who are wanting to regain audience retention, who are trying to use that. They're literally feeding off of the audience's viewing figures in order to sustain themselves and to sustain their lives. Some really fun, gruesome imagery with these characters called Grobolosh and Volgamir, played by Samuel James and Holly Jackson Walters respectively, where they're just these blobby, strange, repugnant creatures who are just getting way too excited about the audience figures and trying to get to the 100 out of 100 audience appreciation index. There's some really fun stuff there. It's wickedly fun, particularly the cliffhanger ending to part 4, which was an awful lot of fun. As someone in the comment section mentioned, though, there is another character who does kind of get the short end of the stick here on 4, like a great inclusion But then it's like, oh, you're not really doing anything. That's a bit of a shame. I kind of wish that hadn't have happened. However, you do have this trilogy of writers whose work I really like. Stuart Pringle gets a lot of fun dialogue and macabre material in parts 5 and 6, where Shannon Patel does some really effective Cyberman body horror in parts 1 and 2, and Catherine Armitage kind of like is able to make what could have been a really dull middle section feel propulsive. It makes it that there's a lot of like great energy and momentum as the Doctor, Perry, and Davros try and fight their way out of this TV studio. Some really effective set pieces, very clever moments. I think in terms of like emotional impact, there aren't any scenes similar to the Sixth Doctor and the older Perry from the Quinn Dilemma. But when it comes to just pure fun, pure like entertainment value and novelty of having all of these villains come together, and you can tell that Stuart Pringle was grinning from ear to ear with some of the villain interactions in the concluding chapters of this story. It's just really fun, and that enthusiasm of fans of the Sixth Doctor writing a celebration of the Sixth Doctor in his 40th anniversary, it came off of the page. Really fun stuff. There's not a lot here character-wise, but it is unquestionably a very fun and successful celebration of the Sixth Doctor, and does make for an effective double feature with the Quinn Dilemma. Like I said, the Quinn Dilemma is a celebration of the Sixth Doctor and his companions with some really strong character interactions, whereas the Trials of a Time Lord is a celebration of some of those particular stories and the villains, like Vengeance on Varys, like the Androgums from the Two Doctors, like Terry Malloy's Davros, like David Banks as the Cyber Leader, etc., building upon Perry being married to King Yrcanos after the events of Trial of a Time Lord. It is a celebration. There's so much here. I'm kind of amazed that it does hold together as well as it does and feel as cohesive as it does. I think as it gets towards the end, there's maybe a few too many elements. However, because, we're in like the home stretch of the story, you're either on board with it or you're not. But thankfully, I do think that it is able to propel itself towards the conclusion with sheer fun kinetic energy, with a really satisfying conclusion that's thematically impactful and effective, particularly for the Sixth Doctor. So, happy 40th birthday, the Sixth Doctor. Quinn Dilemma and the Trials of a Time Lord, really strong and effective double feature to celebrate the 40th anniversary of an icon.
Even more of me.